If we talk about some of the great empires of the world for a few moments, the Roman Empire holds a special place among them. It was a government of its time that remained the world's sole superpower for centuries. However, there were also some occasions in history when this empire fared worse at the hands of humans than even animals. One such instance was during the reign of Roman Emperor Elagabalus. Elagalabus was merely a mentally disabled child of 14 when he ascended to the throne of the Roman Empire. Yet, this same child became not only the ruler of this great empire but also its most prominent religious leader. He ruled over the Roman Empire from 218 to 222 AD, but these 4 years are counted as some of the darkest in Roman history. Before Elagalabus, the Roman Empire was under the rule of Severus Alexander, who was not capable of governing. Therefore, Elagalabus was chosen to replace him, and instead of being called Gaius, he took the name Elagabalus. He was originally from Emesa in Syria, and his upbringing was also spent there. When he was elected as the Caesar of Rome, he introduced the worship of an obscure and vulgar deity called Elagalabus instead of the ancient Roman religion. Elagalabus is also known by the name Elagalabus, and his dedication to this deity made him its chief priest. Elagalabus took bizarre and extravagant actions to promote this new religion. He brought a statue of the deity Elagalabus, also known as Elagabal, from Emesa, and constructed a grand temple in Rome for its worship. The temple was adorned with gold and precious jewels. However, even these efforts failed to sway the Roman people from their traditional beliefs. To further emphasize his devotion to Elagabal, Elagabalus arranged extravagant ceremonies. Every morning, a sheep or goat was sacrificed in the temple of this new deity. First, the animal was immersed in wine, and then it was sacrificed. During these ceremonies, Elagabalus would dance frenziedly to the beat of drums and cymbals. His madness reached such an extent that he even danced on the tables and dishes. In addition to the animal sacrifices, children were also subjected to torture and then sacrificed at the temple of Elagabal. This cruel practice was carried out in secret, and Elagabalus himself was said to participate in these horrifying rituals. He even considered himself to be the earthly incarnation of Elagabal, the deity he worshipped. Under the influence of these thoughts, he once raped a Vestal virgin. Vestal virgins were part of the ancient Roman tradition, an organization of unmarried girls who took a vow of lifelong virginity. If any girl in this organization established physical relations with a man, her punishment was to be buried alive in the ground. Elagabalus not only violated this Roman custom but also married a Vestal virgin. The sole and only purpose of marrying a Vestal virgin for Elagabalus was his belief that the child born from their marriage will be a deity. But it could not happen because he was a transvestite. Once, Elagabalus expressed the desire to become a complete woman through his physicians. However, the priests then explained to him that even after becoming a woman, he could not remain the chief priest of the deity Elagalabus. His life was immersed in all kinds of sexual debauchery. Both women and men were part of the scene in his court, which resembled a palace of luxury and promiscuity, where beautiful men and women from the lower and middle classes were brought in. They were given high-ranking positions and estates in return for their participation in his debaucheries. Elagabalus was often found naked at the gates of his palace or bathing in a large pool within the palace, with many men and women present. In addition, A long list of Elagabalus's wives and concubines is found in historical records. Besides, Elagabalus had also married his male slave. Despite being the sole ruler of the empire and the highest religious authority in the land, Elagabalus did not restrain his actions. He would enact laws as he pleased, disregarding the dignity of those he desired. He considered himself an absolute ruler who could make laws as he wished, dishonoring anyone who stood in his way. He believed himself to be an incarnation of a deity, and those who opposed him or spoke against him were publicly executed or subjected to various forms of violence. Elagabalus conducted marriages according to his own desires. In this manner, for a period of 4 years, the Roman Empire witnessed a reign marked by extreme debauchery under the rule of this child. Gradually, the Roman army began to turn against him. The most significant blow to Elagabalus's rule came when his grandmother, Julia Maesa, who was responsible for the Roman Empire's Antonii government, took action. She replaced Elagabalus with his cousin Alexander. While Elagabalus was lost in his debaucheries, he continued to believe that he was the special representative chosen by the deity Elagabalus to rule the world, and no worldly power could stop him. In 222 AD, Alexander was nominated as the new Caesar. Initially, Elagabalus couldn't comprehend what was happening, but soon the seriousness of the situation became evident. To save his life, he took refuge in a filthy toilet-like building, where people eventually dragged him out. At the age of only 18, he was assassinated, becoming one of the worst emperors in Roman history. Later, his mother, who had been an accomplice in all his atrocities, was also killed. Both their bodies were hung for several days in the city as a warning. Afterwards, all of Elagabalus's supporters were thoroughly purged. The statue of the deity Elagabalus was returned to its original place, marking the end of a dark period in Roman history.